Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
All right, we are excited to have in studio this week Sam Jones, one of our favorite title reps from Fidelity National Title. And part of the responsibility, a lot of people, when it comes down to title, they don't know how much support you provide agents when it comes down to marketing. So tell me where I'm wrong. This is what I teach agents, because I know we got a lot of agents that watch this. And then we're going to get into the title and escrow and what you guys do. But this is, and I could be completely way off base here, but I tell agents, when you wake up in the morning and you want to post something on social media and you have no idea what to post, just post something about puppies, because you can't go wrong posting about puppies.
When in doubt, post your dog, share a story about your dog. If you look on your Instagram and you see your engagement on something that is totally real estate based or totally business related, the views there are low. And then if you go to a video of your dogs or you out at the park with your dogs, your views and engagement are somewhat higher.
What's wrong with this country? like why are we so enamored by obsessed with our furry little friends at home? What is that?
I don't know. They're always happy to see you. And they're just so cute.
I don't know. Do you?
Oh, here we go.
I'm over here just sitting. I've listened long enough.
He's fuming over there with thought.
Well, so truth be told, I'm a dog lover too, but I made the mistake of getting a puppy during COVID. Our previous dog, who was an English pointer, she was amazing. She was exactly all the good things that you can think of in a dog. And so she was kind of reaching her end of life. We got another puppy and didn't do much research, to put it light. And when I say didn't do much research, we didn't do any.
Because once you put eyes on them when they're puppies, it doesn't matter. All
You're
logic
done.
gets thrown out the door.
So we were having a hard time finding a puppy in the first place. And then my son comes to me and says, "Hey, look, there's these people that live just outside of town, and they just had a litter of bloodhounds." And I was like, "Bloodhounds? That sounds like fun. They're cool-looking dogs, and they howl, and they're bird dog, or they're sniffing out things." What a pain in the ass.
Well, the best part is you called me. Hey, we're going out to pick up this dog. Do you want me to pick up the Weinsteins one too?
there was another one that was available, the sister, and you dodged a bullet on that one, buddy. I'm telling you. I mean, now she's folded herself into the family, and we love her now, but it's definitely love-hate.
What kind of dogs do you have at home? Tell us about your love of do you have one or two or three or eight?
We have two right now. We actually call them creatures because to most people it's like a face only a mother could love. We have a Weimaraner poodle mix, and she looks like a Irish wolfhound, kind of a little bit smaller. So super wiry, just like a creature you would see out in the forest. And then we have a wire-haired pointing Griffon. And now she's being trained to be an upland bird dog because my husband hunts. So she is at home, the sweetest little cuddly little thing, because they just don't look like dogs. And then she goes to work and goes and fetches birds and stuff. But something that you said,
badass.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. She's a pretty cool little dog. Her name is Wren. She's
cool.
She's cute. And the other one is Rue. So we have Wren and Rue.
Rennie Roo.
But something you said, Mike, a few days ago actually, was you're talking about CRM, you're talking about, client communication, and you said you have to remember the dog's name.
You do.
And sometimes people feel like they're so important and special to you just because you remember that one little factor. So if there's something you can take away is when you're talking to people and you get a detail like that, especially Ruffy, I think is what you call it. Ruffy.
My neighbor growing up had a dog named Ruffy. He was a keyshound.
I thought you made that up in like the spur
No.
of the moment.
It's funny how sometimes you're the most creative person I know, and then you're like, "Hey, come up with a generic dog name," and you come up with a Ruffy.
I'm like Brick. I just say whatever I see. Camera, lamp. So and before we get into business, and that was the thing I did mention with CRMs is if you're going to call somebody and have a conversation about their dog, at least make sure the dog's still alive, because that just becomes a very, very awkward moment. Now, I don't know about you, Ryan. Your previous dog, I forgot the dog's name. Lily. You had a deep connection and a deep affection for this dog. And I had one. His name was Ramses. He was a beagle. He was me. Like, I've never met it. I mean, this dog, what he would do for food. And and what he would do for beer. You'd be out in the pool and you would open up the can of beer and he could just hear that noise and he would come running. And
Sounds like a college buddy of mine.
I love this dog, and so when it was time for us to have to put him down, it was a tearjerker for me. I have not been able to get over it. Now we have a schnoodle and we have a golden lab. They're great dogs, but I don't know. It's just like a part of me died when Ramses died. Is that for you with Lucifer?
Yeah. Well, no, not with Lucy, Lily. But yeah, Lily. Man, that was a rough month. But we hung out all the time, and she was a bird dog, and so we'd go out and we'd hunt together and have a good time. So yeah, when she died, it was really, really tough.
Well,
You're trying to make me cry.
Well, it's a great line for me if I go to the park or something. I'm like, and I've got my Hershey's the name of our schnoodle. I'll be going up to people. Hey, you want to pet my schnoodle? It's an awkward moment for most. All right, let's talk about Fidelity National Title. Most everybody knows that when they buy a home, you have a title company and you have a escrow company, and they do two separate functions. But what's really interesting is they operate differently in different states. Ryan and I recently bought and sold a home in California, and we actually had a title company and a completely separate escrow company. And it was confusing for me because here in Arizona, you're kind of all packaged together. Kind of walk us through the intricacies of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here in Arizona, we are title and escrow together. So Fidelity National Title here in the state of Arizona, we operate as the title company, which researches and insures the title on your property. But we also act as the escrow agent as well. So
but title and insuring, what does that mean? Like that's what people don't understand, how important it is to get that right.
Mm-hmm. So important that you actually can't buy a house without it.
There you go.
You can buy a house with a lot of other things, but you cannot buy a house without having a title policy on there. And it's basically just ensuring that you are taking over a clean deed, right? There's no claims on the property, there's no clouds on the property, so that when you take over that property, if in 5 years somebody comes knocking on your door saying the previous owner didn't pay for $25,000 of your roof, you're covered, right, through your title company. And when we say we research as well, we try and make sure that there's nothing like that going to come up for you, right? So you're just making sure that you have a clear conscience, clear house when you're taking over title.
And then escrow, because here in Arizona sometimes people come from out of state. Oh, it's Fidelity National Title, and I'm paying title fees and I'm paying escrow fees. But that is really the same in every state.
Yes, yeah. You're just paying it to two different companies. And here in the state of Arizona, our fees are monitored by the county. So wherever you go, your fees are going to be relatively the same. I have heard, though, that in Arizona, our fees are a little bit higher than most other states that you're going to go to. And I have a feeling it's probably because we are title and escrow together. And then as far as the escrow process goes, that means we manage all of the docs that go into the transaction. So we collect earnest money, we do the purchase contract, manage the purchase contract, and then we also release funds at the end of the transaction.
So, excuse me, I can go on and on about how you guys are different and how you guys, how much better experience I've had with you guys and any other title company. But for the people that are listening and may not be in the industry, their perception is, okay, when I bought a house, the title company or escrow company, they reached out to me and they picked up a check. And then when it was time to close, someone showed up at my house, or I walked into their office, signed off on everything, and then wired in funds or brought in a cashier's check. What are the things to watch out for? What are the telltale signs that, hey, this company probably doesn't have it all together?
Ooh, that's a good question. So probably if you don't actually get to talk to a real person and significantly like the same person throughout the transaction, you're going to have one escrow officer assigned to your deal, when you're purchasing your house. So if you have multiple people reaching out to you, there's a lot of fraud that goes on in the real estate space, right? So we have like wire fraud, we have foreclosure fraud, vacant land fraud, etc. So there's a lot of people when you go into a real estate transaction that are trying to get your money, right? And that's why the title company is so important, specifically a large title company like the company I work for, Fidelity National Title, because we are ahead of every little thing, right? We have the most protections and we have the most experienced escrow officers. So you don't just get to come into Fidelity National Title and start as an escrow officer, right? You have to be an escrow assistant for multiple years, go through really extensive training in order to graduate to be an escrow officer. So for my company, we have some of the most skilled and experienced people. And I would say that if you're in a transaction and you don't get the feeling that they really know 100% of what they're talking about and they can't talk you through things, maybe a little bit of a red flag.
There's some big nuggets right there. So if you're listening, the big keynotes there is the person that's on the other side of the phone, and that they are consistently answering you. But then that keyword, that red flag word, fraud. Can you throw out like a quick example of what type of wire fraud or foreclosure fraud? Any of those examples that you threw out there?
Yeah. So wire fraud. There's companies or there's hackers out there, scammers out there who will, if your security is not strong enough on your technology, they'll hack your system and be able to copy exactly what your communications look like, and they'll reach out to the buyer and basically steal the money from them. They'll say, we need your earnest money. A case happened here just recently, hundreds of thousands of dollars wired directly to this company, and it wasn't actually a title company. It was somebody who was just looking for...
So the rule of thumb I have with all of our clients, you will eventually get wire instructions from the title company. Do not wire anything without picking up the phone and verifying it with your escrow officer or the agent that you're working with. I think the other thing, because I want to just wrap up by getting into what sets Fidelity National Title apart from other title companies, because title companies are not created all equal. But I would also say buyers and investors don't necessarily realize that they have a say in which title company is going to be on the contract. Oftentimes, they just rely on what their agent recommends, which is fine. That's what we're here for. But you do have that option, and it's important to have the right title company. So again, not all title companies are created equal. In your opinion, in your years working with Fidelity National Title, what sets them apart?
Well, the fact, number one, is that we are actually one of the largest title companies across the U.S., right? And so with that comes a lot of backing and a lot of access to, like I just mentioned, higher security protocols, more experienced people. We also have some of the highest claims reserves. So that means that if for some reason something detrimental happens in the market to the company, we have so much money reserved that we can actually pay out on all of the title policies that we've written for X amount of years to come. So when you're working with a massive company like ours, you can have a lot of security knowing you're very well taken care of.
When we started the segment, it didn't sound like you guys were settled on just 2 dogs. Are you like, I mean, it looked like you were in the market for a third. Are you that crazy?
Oh, thank God you brought this up, because Ryan and I, my husband, we talked about this last night. He wants to actually breed our Griffon.
With a bloodhound? Like a bloody Griffon?
Or a schnoodle?
Yeah. You can have her.
All right. This is we are with Sam Jones from Fidelity National Title, our title partner when it comes down to working with our clients and our transactions here in the great state of Arizona. we understand and we know that we have a ton of real estate agents that tune in and listen to this podcast. So if you're looking for somebody who is a marketing guru and can really help you propel your business, we're going to want you to reach out to Sam. And if you're an investor and a buyer and you want to take control of who's on that contract and who's representing you, all you got to do is text the word title to 623-AZ-RECON. That's title to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.